Welcome to the Innovation World Podcast, your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Live with Innovation World. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Carmen Danisco with the Launch Network. We got a great show today, Innovation World, the day before the next gift, the Global Innovation Tour that we have or goes around the world. I'm going to bring Julie on. She's going to explain a little bit. Hey, Julie, what's happening?
Hey, Carmine. It's a good week. As you mentioned, our gift is tomorrow, the Global Innovation Field Trip. It's gift number 2. We had our inaugural gift May 14th, 15th. It was fantastic. We had 103 presenters, 81 presentations over a 24-hour period. And we've got the same kind of lineup this time. Not sure if we have 15 countries, 17 countries, somewhere in the range involved this time around. And we're just really excited. I mean, to bring these young innovators, to give them a format to come in and have time to talk to the rest of the world about what they're doing out there. And when I introduce our guest in a while, maybe she'll join us on the September gift program to talk about what she's innovated. Just a couple of reminders, though. You know, you can always go out to innovationworld.org. Right on our homepage, you can find opportunities for K-12 innovators. There's a student host challenge that we run, and that kind of feeds into our gift program. We have 3 students selected that will join us. All of them will join us tomorrow on the 9th at gift. They'll have about an hour-long segment where they're going to be asking the questions of some of our innovative guests, which is really cool. So you can go out there and submit your video and try to be a guest host for the next gift program. We also have some summer challenges going on right now. You can find those on the Innovation World website as well. They are brought to us by inventfuture.global, but they allowed the Innovation World to be one of the organizations offering those summer challenges. And there's 3 really fun challenges that students 9 through 14 can sign up to be a part of. And then, of course, our podcast, which we're doing right now. Always an opportunity for innovators or people who have innovative programs to come on and talk to us a little bit about what they're doing to support innovation in the K-12 space.
Wow. It's amazing when I ask you, and I say this all the time, how much stuff is really going on? I mean, I know that you and your team always have things going on, but there's a lot of different innovative things for, I don't want to say kids, young adults all over the world. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, there really are. And one of the things when we started Innovation World back last October, or Inventober as we call it, was to create a hub where people can go and find a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world in the K-12 innovation space. So keep that in mind. I mean, we have a few ideal opportunities for students on our homepage, but we have a ton of resources behind that. So come on and take a look when you can and send us some feedback. And if you have an organization you want to see listed on our website, please do reach out to me through the Innovation World contact form, and I will get back with you and we can put your information on our site too. Cool. And make you available.
Awesome.
With that, I would love to introduce today's special guest. And she's a special guest because we've had a lot of different types of innovators on this program. We've had, inventors, people who deal in robot. We have, just a wide variety, but she will be our very, very first guest host, author.
Yeah.
Book writer, book author. I'm not sure the right thing to call her, but she can correct me in just a second. Miss Lilah Yeager, thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you say hi, Lilah?
Hi.
Wow, an author. Yeah, you're right, Julie. This is the first author we had on.
So, Lilah, tell us where you go to school and what grade you're getting ready to start.
So I go to Perry Middle School. It's a smaller school near Cleveland, and I'm getting ready to go into 7th grade.
Wonderful. So are you moving into middle school, or were you in middle school last year?
I've been in middle school since 5th grade. We started a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my good friends from the Ohio Invention League reached out to me one day and said that, we have this really innovative young lady who has something new to show. And what was that you came up with? What have you created, Lilah?
So I decided to write a book to help kids understand pandemics and everything that's going on in the world right now, so they wouldn't be too afraid to leave the house, and so they wouldn't be not understanding everything and leave the house and go touch everything and get sick. And so my main goal was to help them understand what's going on and how they can stay safe.
And why did you decide to do that? Do you have little siblings, or what prompted you to think about little kids and their need to know about pandemics?
So I'm the oldest kid in my family. I have a younger sister, and then all of my cousins are a lot younger than me. And so I noticed that they were all very confused about this time and that they didn't quite understand what to do and how to stay safe. And so I decided, well, if they don't know, then something should teach them. So I decided to write the book and help them understand.
Is that a role that you feel like you've kind of always played with them before this? Have you always kind of led the way for this group in your family? Yeah. Did you think you were going to be an author or a writer?
I've always thought about it. I've always loved writing and reading. And so, I guess this was just the perfect opportunity. And, whenever this opportunity presented itself, I was so excited to get to do this.
So is your book already published?
Yeah, so we ended up going through Story Jumper, and they kind of self-published it for us. So we have a copy right here. And so, yeah, this is it.
Hold that up close to your camera. I'd like you to see it a little bit closer. Cute. What's this hanging off the front? Is that a coronavirus?
Yeah, so we decided to take a styrofoam ball and just some push pins and paint it. And so it has Velcro attached to it, so that way you can move it throughout the book and see how the germ spreads and attaches to different things. So, because I wanted to put a little interactive touch into this to help kids understand a little bit more than having them just read it and see the pictures. So I figured that would be a good idea to do that.
So not to play the devil's advocate, but if I order a book for my 6-year-old, does that mean it has push pins in it still? Or are you gonna create a different prototype or design for the outside of it that doesn't have pins in it?
Yeah, we will create a different prototype, so that way it's a little bit safer for kids. But for now, this was kind of our quick idea to do that and get it done.
For your prototype?
Yeah.
So what age group is this for?
This is for any kids that are from probably 3 and up, anybody that would like to read this to their kids so they can understand, or any kids that are curious about this and would like to understand a little bit more by themselves. They could read it themselves. So
I don't know about you, Carmine, but I know a lot of adults who could stand to learn a little bit about pandemics right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Good for them too. So have you been on any other shows with your book at this point?
No, I have not. This is the first.
Okay. So sometimes when I see authors on a show, if you're willing to do this, they will like read a couple pages and show us the pictures like you were doing with it, like in front of a classroom type mode, just to give people a sense for what is this book really about. Would you consider reading the first couple pages? I don't know how much text or content you have on those, but just a thought.
Yeah, I would be happy to do that.
Okay.
All right.
And what is the title of your book?
The title is The Adventures of Aubrey and The Virus.
Okay. Aubrey or Audrey?
Aubrey.
Okay. And is that your sister's name?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So
I heard the germ fall off or get taken off.
yeah, it's a yeah. All right, so this is Aubrey. Aubrey is 9 years old and lives in the small town of Mayville. She has a cat named Edwin. They love exploring the town together. As Aubrey and Edwin came through the door, Aubrey's mom, Amber, was right behind her. Amber said, "Did you hear? There is a virus going around called the scratchy virus." Aubrey had never heard of this before, so she said no. Aubrey was afraid, but it was in a faraway place across the world, so she was not worried. She cuddled close to Edwin and fell asleep. Aubrey woke up the next morning hungry, so she went to the dining room and found her parents getting ready to go to work. "Have a great day, sweetheart. I love you," said both of her parents. Aubrey was off to start her day at school. While Aubrey and all of her friends were at recess, her teacher, Mrs. Rayner, told them to gather around for an announcement. "Students, the president just told all of the schools to close. We don't know how long we will be closed, but we have to leave tomorrow. So pack up your things, bring your Chromebooks home for online classes too. We will miss you." While Aubrey's parents came home, she was very sad. "I don't know how this will work," said her dad. "I'm a musician and a producer. How will I work?" "I don't know. We're trying to learn more about it, but we didn't expect it to spread so fast," exclaimed Aubrey's mom. "Mom, Dad, I'm scared. I don't know what's happening, and everyone is telling me to wear a mask and stay home. Why can't we leave the house? Why can't we go out to eat?" said Aubrey. "Take a seat and let me explain," said Aubrey's mom. "You know how glitter spreads so fast? That's like the virus. If one person has glitter on their hands and touches someone else, they get glitter on them too. That's what happens with germs. If one person is sick and doesn't stay home, or if they don't know they're sick, they could get other people sick too. That one speck could get somebody sick. That's why we can't go out to eat or leave the house. We wear masks because if someone coughs or sneezes, then that germ can go on us and get us sick, and we breathe it in." "But I don't feel sick, so why do I have to stay home?" asked Aubrey. "If you even have one speck of germ on you, you could get other people sick. You might not know you're sick. You could even get sick. You could feel fine, but still have the germ on you and give it to other people," said Aubrey's mom. "Okay, I'm getting kind of sleepy, so I think I'm going to go to bed," said Aubrey. "Yawn, me too. Good night, Beanie. I love you," said Aubrey's dad. "I love you both," said Aubrey. Aubrey went upstairs to her room. Aubrey was sad and scared, but she realized that it was all going to be okay. Everything would be back to normal before her birthday. It was March, and her birthday will be in July. That's 4 months away. She was worried about her vacation to an amusement park, though. They were supposed to leave on June 1st. The park said they were going to open on June 1st. All she could do was stay home and wait for this to all be over. She cuddled up next to Edwin again and fell asleep. After she woke up, she heard someone talking, and she saw that her dad was having a live concert. She was so excited. Her dad sang for her 1 hour. As the concert ended, she realized that she had to get online for class. So she hurried into the dining room with her Chromebook to log on to class.
Lilah,
Mhm.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want you to give your whole book away, only because I want people to buy your book and figure out how it ends. But boy, does that sound so much like what happened at our house and what happened at my other grandson's house and what happened everywhere. I think that you've really captured kind of that sense of not having a clue what's going to happen, which I think everyone did. My kids in this school district happened to be on spring break when it was decided they wouldn't come back. So it didn't feel quite as abrupt, I think, for them. In fact, they thought it was just an ongoing extension of their spring break. It might be hard to get them to go back. That is really wonderful. I mean, I can't see the illustrations super well from here, but I can see that they're full and they're colorful and they fill in the entire page. And so who did all the illustrations?
So Story Jumper uses pre-drawn images that you can place in different places with different backgrounds and text colors. So I got to design the character myself and then place them where I wanted on the page, and whenever it printed, it would all be there and super colorful and vibrant. So that was very helpful.
So does every page have a place where you can stick the germ on it if you want to? Or every other page?
Every page has a little piece of Velcro on it, so the back of the germ will attach to the
Germ.
germ moves.
So you can keep your germs with you at all times.
Hey, Lilah, real quick, a lot of people always think about or talk about, I'm going to do a book. I'm going to write a book. Tell me a little about the process. Like when you had the idea for the book, what was your first thing when you thought about writing the book? Did you whiteboard it out? Did you just take notes or put an outline together? What was like your first steps to get the book going?
At first, I created a slideshow so that way I could kind of keep track of my ideas. And if I was going to write the book myself and do all the illustrations by hand, then what would be the cost of all of this? And I figured that doing it online would be a little bit better because I'm not the best artist, so I decided to do that instead. But I mean, once I got writing, I struggled with a lot of writer's block and where I wanted to go with this, but eventually you just kind of hit that point where you're like, okay, I know what I'm going to do and I know what my ultimate goal is now. And once I hit that point, I was good to go and could write the book.
That's awesome.
So how many turns did that story take before you got the story you wanted? How many iterations did you go through? Kind of like an invention where you try over.
It took a lot of tries to figure out where I wanted to go with this. But luckily, I did figure out what I wanted to do by the time that it was time to write.
Well, it couldn't be that you worked on it for a long time because we didn't even hear about the virus till about October. And it didn't seem like it was threatening the U.S. till probably the January, February timeframe. So how long have you really been working on this?
So I think I started for a little while. I think it was about 2 months ago. And the process itself took about 1 month from the time I started coming up with the idea to the time I had finished the book.
Wow, that's great.
That's pretty quick. That's really good. But then you had a pretty strong idea of where you wanted to go with it. So that was helpful. Do you see any sequels or do you see this as something you might want to do again, instructing on something else maybe?
I'm thinking that doing Invention Convention for the rest of the years that I do it, I've decided I want to help kids understand different things so that way whenever they get to high school or even middle school or elementary school, they know how to stay safe and they know how to, if another pandemic does happen in their lifetime, then how to stay safe as a person in the world trying to navigate this whole thing. And so, I guess I do see this going into different types of things so that way kids can understand all this stuff.
Well, how old is your sister?
My sister just turned 10 a couple days ago, and so she's old enough to kind of understand, but my cousins are all 7, 6, 4, and 1, so they're all super little and don't understand, why do I have to stay home from preschool and elementary school? Why am I on my Chromebook doing classes and not with my friends and playing outside with all of my friends? So, I really wanted them to be able to understand this is why we're home and this is how we're going to navigate this, and this is all going to be okay soon.
Very good.
That's really good. So I was asking about your sister because I was thinking if you're willing to reach out even a little bit farther than just viruses. There's all sorts of different things that are going to come up that maybe you've gone through some of them already that she hasn't hit yet. Like, middle school is not easy for everybody. I mean, it depends on the kind of group that you hang out with, and there's a lot of pressures there. And, she might be helped by a book to help her get through some of those middle school years too. I remember when my daughters were in middle school, and it was just, I would have to say for them, it was the hardest time in any school level they've been in. When you're just starting to kind of come into what am I, who am I, what do I believe in, and then you've got all these other people around you that might believe differently, and it's a struggle to get used to.
Yeah.
Hey, Lila, who was your proofreader as you went through the book?
So my dad and my sister both kind of proofreaded a little bit, but it was definitely my mom. She was there the whole time helping me with finding the website at first because she was doing a project with her students for the end of the year, and she's like, hey, this website is actually really nice. Why don't you give this a try? And, she proofread it countless times, and it was just so amazing to have her right there.
Huh. And it seems like she may be right there, right now.
Yeah, she is. She's sitting right here.
So, hi. Hi, Amber. It's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So this isn't the first time you've inspired students to create, I think. I think you've probably been working in, first of all, you're an educator, so that's already inspirational, but you do some other things too, I believe.
Yes. I've been a middle school teacher now for 16 years, so for a long time. And I've had kids work in Invention League here in Ohio, and then also do a lot of the different science fairs throughout the state, and go, even beyond that, and do lots of different projects with Science Olympiad, and just getting kids involved in STEM and showing them that there are things that they can do outside of the classroom, which is such a great experience. So I was so glad when Lila was able to have this experience for the first time.
So how do you think being involved in all of these different types of activities helps students going forward? What does it do for their future?
I think it really kind of gives them a different perspective on some different areas of science. When I look back sometimes, this is, over 20 years ago when I was in school, we still had the very traditional means of trying to find a career in what you wanted to do after you left high school. And I think showing them that there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can go to a 4-year school, you can go get trained in something. You can leave high school and get started right away if that's what you ultimately want to do, that there are lots of different paths for them, and just kind of giving them those options so that they can make a good decision for something that they're really interested in, and something that they really love is super important.
And how many years were you, are you still the coordinator for Invention League for your school system?
So I was at the middle school, and then after a little bit of redistricting, now I'm at the high school. So I have a little bit different role right now. I coordinate actually right now for our AHLI group, which is a STEM leadership group that basically we take kids out into different fields now, and they get some field experience working in the different sciences, and getting them really prepared for that next step after high school. And then I know that they're still continuing to do some of the Invention League stuff at the middle school.
Okay. I think they did some, I think they just held, or no, they're going to hold their state competition coming up pretty soon, aren't they? Maybe
Yes.
It's the first week of August.
Yes, it is the first week of August here. So.
It'll be the first totally online one. So it's kind of an innovative thing for them too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's very cool. The kids really enjoy the online learning. It's totally different experience for me as a teacher, and for them. I get to see inside of their realms at home, which is really, really interesting sometimes.
So Lila, we didn't touch on what you think you want to do once you graduate. What are your interests?
So ever since I was little and knew what a doctor was, I've been in love with medicine and becoming a doctor. And a couple years ago, I figured out that I wanted to go to Case Western University in Cleveland and go there to become an ER doctor and work with patients.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Awesome.
big dream. That's really cool though. So how is that close enough to home that you can be home a lot?
Yeah,
Closer by you?
yeah, family's always been super important to me. So picking, just kind of looking at colleges for fun now has been cool to see like what's around us in Ohio. And Case Western is only like an hour away. Super close.
So do you have doctors in your family?
Yeah, so my aunt and uncle are both family practitioners in Dayton, Ohio. So it's been really cool to kind of ask them questions about like, where did you go to school, and what's it like being in the medical field, and with all of this going on.
Was it their influence that that you felt that you wanted to go that direction, or was something else that inspired you to decide to become a doctor?
It was a little bit of that, and it was something that I just kind of knew whenever I was a kid that I loved medicine and I wanted to help people with whatever they were going through. So yeah, I think it was kind of both that kind of helped me decide what I want to do.
Yeah, she had her first little pair of scrubs at about 1.5 years and would not take them off. So,
So you said you want to be an ER doctor, though, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Wow. So, Mom, I've only watched shows about ER doctors. I don't know any ER doctors personally. I think that requires somebody who has an awful lot of patience and doesn't get flustered and upset really easy, or have a lot of anxiety. I mean, is this something she can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Lila is really good at, thinking quickly, which is a great skill that Invention League teaches them right away, how to problem solve. And that is one of her strengths for sure. She also is blessed with, a photographic memory. She can look at something and recall it very quickly. So I think she's got a lot of those skills to, really make her successful in whatever she decides to do.
That's
awesome.
wonderful.
That's so great. I wanted to be a doctor, but every time I saw blood, I would faint.
That would be, that would probably be, I really, really want to watch the shows where they show somebody doing surgery, but I just can't watch it. I could listen to it. I just wouldn't be able to watch it. So we're thankful that there are people like you in the world, Lila, who are willing to look at blood and look past it and still try to help us, even though we're bleeding all over your ER.
And we're really thankful for parents like your mom, not only helping you in that realm, but also with books and inventions. It's so great, Mom, that you're right there all the time.
Oh, yeah, we love it. We wouldn't have it any other way. We're super proud of both of our girls.
It's so cool. Does it seem like a lot, Julie, right? A lot of the young adults that are in the Invention League, invention and innovation and wanting to help people, their parents seem very involved. It seems like a trend like that.
I agree. And I think maybe that's what helps make these kids so successful sometimes, is because they also have parents that have the mindset of, you can do anything you want to do, and whatever it is, you're going to do it really, really well. And so that rubs off. And I think they grew up to continue that that chain, if you want to call it a chain. It's not a bad chain. This one's a good chain that they're passing on to others. So I really appreciate how many parents get involved in all of these programs and all of these STEM type programs.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And Lila, having a book on your resume certainly doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah.
Not too many other students or friends in your class are probably they don't have their name on a book.
No, they don't.
But it's a lot of work, right? I mean, when they say, "Oh, you wrote a book," they don't realize how much work you put into it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work to do that, but it's definitely rewarding to see what it can do for people.
That's great. That's
so
awesome.
Do you already know what you're going to do to replace the pinned object on the front of the book? Or I'm wondering if you need advice from somebody, because this guy up here, whatever corner of the screen he's on for you, he knows people in manufacturing. And I wonder if you haven't already thought of something to stick on there, maybe he can lend you a little advice on that.
Yeah, we haven't thought of anything yet, but that would be great.
Yeah, well, we'll go offline one day. We'll take a look at it, and I'm sure we could figure out something. I think it's so cool that you have like a little virus on there. That's pretty cool.
In my house, it would be detached somewhere. When you do create it, make sure it wouldn't hurt if you step on it, okay? Because everything comes detached in my house and we step on everything. Like Legos are some of the worst things. So don't make it super hard, whatever it is. Well, I will connect. In fact, I think your mom already has Carmine's email address, and maybe you can send him a note and ask him if he has time one day, if he can meet with the two of you just real briefly to figure out what direction you would go to get something small like that manufactured. I'm sure he has connections that he can send you
Yeah,
to.
we could do that. Hey, I forgot to ask you, Lilah, is the book for sale? Is it like, can we buy it like off Amazon or something like that?
So right now we don't have anything set up, but our plan is to eventually get it out there for the public to buy.
That's great. I mean, it sounded great, right, Julie? I was sitting there listening, and you did a great job reading it, too. I know you wrote it and all, but you did a great job reading it.
Thank you.
I think she reads to a bunch of little kids at holiday times around her house, I bet.
So everybody's sitting around the fire.
So Lilah, when it's ready to go on sale, no matter wherever you're selling it, if you guys will reconnect with me, I'll go ahead and put it on my website to lead people there. So, and we'll get a copy too, just so we can say we know this famous author.
Yeah, we want a signed copy, and we'll redo the podcast too to kind of help promote it.
Yeah,
That would be wonderful.
That sounds great.
That would be great. Yeah,
you also should consider going out there if you haven't already looked at the Global Innovation Field Trip website yet. It's globalinnovationfieldtrip.org, and consider whether you want to show your book or read your book on air next field trip, which is going to be in September. I think all the dates are on there, and we would give you a 15-minute spot to do that for sure. And if you have it ready to publish by then, you can, there's a lot of educators that watch that show, and they might be interested in picking it up for their classrooms. So it'd be a good place to show it. And we usually have between 15, we've only done this once. Okay. So this will be number 2 starting.
For 24 hours though.
Yes, for 24 hours. We have somewhere around 15 to 17 countries participating. So there's people from all over the place. So you're going to have to start thinking about translations. No,
Presenting tomorrow on the Innovation Field Trip.
I'm sorry?
She's presenting.
Oh, she is already presenting. There you go.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
What time are you on tomorrow?
6:45.
I think I might be hosting at that time.
Yay!
I'll have to go back and look. Well, good. I'll know somebody. But
That's
you can still do September's if you end up publishing between now and then to where it's for sale. That would be absolutely fine. You could do a little blurb in there, or maybe we'll buy a couple of them and give them off as, incentives for people to sign up to participate and gift or something. That would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So cool. Very cool. All right, Julie. I think we're getting out of time a little bit, but any kind of last instructions for listeners that might want to join into the gift tomorrow?
Yeah, just Lilah and Amber, thank you so much for joining us today. And for all of you out there, please go out to the innovationworld.org website. Click on the Global Innovation Field Trip to learn more about the event starting tomorrow. It starts at noon Eastern Standard Time. For those of you not familiar with that, that's kind of New York time in the United States. And it runs until noon on Friday. And we'll have probably 70 or 80 presentations over the course of that 24-hour period. And they're kids from all over the world, organization leaders from all over the world talking about how innovation affects them or what they're doing in the innovation world. So we'd love to see you there.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Well, listen, thank you so much, Lilah. Awesome job on the book. Very cool. I can't wait to get it to where we can get it out to people and they can purchase it from you. It would be great to be able to share it like that. Thank you for reading some of it, and no one knows how it ends because the virus hasn't ended yet. So it's kind of good that you didn't finish the book on air. So that's good. For myself, Carmen Danisco, for Julie Shively, for Lilah, the author, we thank you all for listening today, and we will catch you next time on Innovation World. You all take care.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast and your co-hosts, Julie Shively and Carmine Danisco on the Launch Network. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.